Hey guys, Foam Whisker here. Today I want to talk about the newest released Shadow. The book starts off in RiverClan, which Tiger Star is still in, and he suggests Icewing be the acting leader until things are resolved, which the clan throws a fit about because Icewing had previously stayed in Shadow Clan in the last series, and so he basically says he doesn't care, and also Clovertail's staying. I am so glad it was Icewing though. I love her so much, and now I can actually see her doing stuff that is not basically just backstory stuff. But so far, I'm not done reading at this point, but she's been a major speaking character. So next we see in Shadow Clan that Nightheart is telling everybody that he came to be Sunbeam's mate, which I find super annoying, but I actually liked their chapters together in this book so far. Now on to the emergency gathering. So at the gathering, the clans argue about how Tiger Star took over River Clan, and basically that's it about that. And then Tiger Star announces that Nightheart joined Shadow Clan, which is then complained about. Finchlight then says that there should be 3 trials instead of 1 to allow another to join a clan, and almost everyone agrees. And by the way, Finchlight is Nightheart's sister. Also, in Frostpaw's chapter, she and Shadowsight talked, which I absolutely loved. And I can't really remember exactly what they were talking about, but I know she was talking to him about visions. And just overall, I just loved that she had a chapter talking to him. Then Frostpaw and Icewing talked, and Frostpaw confessed that her fears about not being a medicine cat and about how her visions are probably fake. Icewing tells her to talk to Mothwing and Tiger Star about it. Frostpaw says that she talked to Mothwing about it already and that she doesn't want Tiger Star in the business. And then Icewing talks to Mothwing, and then they talk to Tiger Star, and then Tiger Star talks about how they need to stop lying to one another. So basically, after this conversation, Frostpaw becomes a warrior apprentice, and her mentor is Hairlight, which they complain about because Hairlight was also one of the rebellions and was exiled into Shadow Clan's camp. So I thought that was kind of funny, but I love Hairlight and how they chose him. And what really annoys me the most is as soon as Frostpaw becomes an apprentice, a warrior apprentice, she confesses her love to Splashtail, and throughout just the entire scenes with Splashtail, she just seems very kind of obsessive, honestly. So Fringe Whisker has to do her task, in which she has to jump a tree, whatever, and then cross the area. I don't know how to explain it because I can't really remember, even though I literally just read this book. But she almost gets bit by a snake, and then she smacks the snake and runs off, but she ends up passing that. And then she passes the other one, which she has to go through a cave or whatever, and she has to go through the dark because that's the entire thing of Shadow Clan cats. They go through dark. I don't know how to explain that either, but she eventually becomes a full Shadow Clan warrior. But what I really love is whenever Nightheart did his first task for Shadow Clan, and he was very sarcastic about it because he had to go catch frogs. And so he got the frogs by making a little trap and getting a hole. And then Tiger Star goes, "Well, they're not dead." And he goes, "Oh, I wasn't told to kill them. I was just told to catch this amount of frogs." And then Tiger Star's just like, "Yeah, you right." And I thought it was very funny, and I loved that scene so much. So then Nightheart and Dovewing take a trip to Thunderclan so that Nightheart can get closure from his kin and clanmates. And we see insight on the clan, and I'm not going to talk much about this scene except for Bramblestar. Bramblestar just didn't seem well. You can tell he's struggling with mental illness, and he doesn't listen to Nightheart, and he's just overall not there. As we know, the next book is called Thunder, so perhaps Bramblestar will step down or be removed as leader. But that then arises many questions about the leadership and what happens next. which I will not get into right now. But if y'all want to see me make a video on that, feel free to comment theories and I will discuss them. So yeah, that's going to be a different video from this. To continue, Sunbeam and Nightheart spy on Berryheart and her, basically, I'm going to call them gremlins. So, as they talk with Splashtail, RiverClan, and I cannot remember who else is there, but they're talking about faking a medicine cat sign and then something about not having a medicine cat and hoping to get leader soon. And Berryheart just basically does not want ShadowClan in control over RiverClan or whatever. Honestly, I wasn't really paying attention during the scene. But anyway, we then go back to RiverClan where everyone is just basically falling apart, which I absolutely love. Everyone keeps questioning Frostpaw and she just eventually goes off on them. And wow, Frostpaw is just magically great at being a warrior apprentice. I know Hairlight can't be that good. Also, to go back on something I skipped, Curlfeather didn't have to die for nothing then, and this is in a quote. Just sounds like her siblings are just blaming her for their mother's death now, and, chill. She had no idea that that was going to happen to her mother, and it wasn't done on purpose. Okay, so, Splashtail was just extremely annoying about Frostpaw not wanting to be a medicine cat. I just kind of, really wanted to punch him, because he just was nonstop, well, I still can't believe that you don't want to be a medicine cat anymore. Well, get over it. And to me, in this book, Sunbeam has had so much personality and character growth. And so far, this entire series, and we're only on book 3, so hopefully it doesn't go downhill from here. But it's been a total breath of fresh air. And I just love how Sunbeam confronted Berryheart. And this entire scene was just so dramatic. But I sure hope we get a Berryheart novella because I want all of these events in her perspective. Also, wow, she is, manipulative. I don't know if it's supposed to be made to seem like this, but to me, absolutely. Also, the book freaking mentioned Needletail, aka Berryheart and Sparrowtail's daughter, aka Sunbeam's sister. And I was literally watching the Hawks video with Sunnyfall, Moon Kitty, and Akira, and they talked about this, and I was just like, oh wow, that'd be great if they mentioned that, and they actually did, and I don't know how to explain that, but I was so happy to actually hear that they, Sparrowtail was talking to Sunbeam about it, and whoo. Nightheart's second trial was to steal something from a two-legged den without being caught, which involves speed. Both Tigerstar and Dovewing disagreed with Berryheart's choice of task for Nightheart, in which Berryheart backed up her cause with stealth is an important skill for a ShadowClan warrior. So of course she disagreed. And by the way, there's a dog in the area. Nightheart accepts the challenge anyway. Nightheart gets chased by a small dog, and they basically played tug of war over the two-leg pelt, which I thought was hilarious. Berryheart basically tries to fill Nightheart, and her gremlins stick up for her. Tigerstar agrees with Nightheart and that he completed the task. Berryheart says to him, "You may have won that one, but I still have one more chance to keep you out of ShadowClan." And she actually said this. This is a quote from the book. But oh my god, in this series, Berryheart is just wow. She has developed such, a great personality, I guess, but, also not great. But her, justification is questionable, yet understandable. Which makes me think that Berryheart is a really good character. And I love her. So please, people, if you are watching this and y'all make animated maps, make a Berryheart map. Do it. For this next part, before I get into saying this, I have a reaction. So I'm going to show y'all my reaction while I'm saying this part. So, out while fishing with Hairlight, Frostpaw has a vision. Frostpaw is seeing the world from another cat's point of view, one that is watching Reed Whisker hunt. And this Well, this is where we find out that Reed Whisker was indeed murdered. Yes, you heard me. Frostpaw's vision point of view was Reed Whisker's murder. Reed Whisker had to know this cat too, since his eyes widened in recognition. This scene was so horrific and so sad, and I loved it, but also hated it, and I just can't describe it anymore, but just wow. Reed Whisker's ghost is now behind Frostpaw. Reed Whisker says there is a darkness in RiverClan, closer than you think. Frostpaw snaps from the vision and realizes that it was real. Curlfeather's trust no one quote is brought up once more in this book. Whomever may have killed Reed Whisker may have planned to kill Curlfeather too when they learned she'd be leader. Frostpaw for now decides to keep this all to herself, not understanding if this was a real vision or how to describe it to others now that she said that her visions were fake. Chapter 16, which this all occurred in, has to be one of my most favorite chapters, but it's not my only favorite chapter. Bramblestar tells Squirrelfly at the gathering, maybe you're better suited to be leader than I am. Others believed he actually meant it. At the gathering, though, it was mainly discussed about Battle War and Tigerstar in RiverClan again. And I just want to take a moment to talk about Thunder. So Thunder will most likely be about Bramblestar in my opinion, and I may be wrong, but I doubt it. But then again, I just finished the book at this point, so it will definitely be about Bramblestar and him stepping down, which I will get to in a bit. So at the end of chapter 18, SkyClan, Thunderclan, and ShadowClan fight. Nigh questioned if he should fight Thunderclan and fought Sparkpelt for a second. A moment happened where it was just Nightheart and Bramblestar, and Bramblestar says, "Don't I know you? This was extremely sad." And give me a second. Nightheart thought about killing Bramblestar, in which all this turns out to be a nightmare. But the nightmare was so interesting because imagine if he would have killed Bramblestar in his sleep. But he's not actually killing Bramblestar, but what if he actually did it? It'd be interesting. But I feel so bad for Nightheart now. He used to be my least favorite, and now he is literally my favorite. So Nightheart visits Thunderclan after this dream, and he visits Bramblestar in particular. Lion Blaze refuses to let Nightheart cross the border, and Sorrelstrup convinces him otherwise. Nightheart tries to convince Bramblestar to stay leader this chapter, and the scene just really hit different. It was really sad and actually made me sympathize for Bramblestar. He says, "No poppy seed will ever make me forget the Dark Forest," referring to the last series where Ashford took over his body. Leafpool spoke to Jayfeather about Bramblestar, and she said he must soon make a sacrifice. And we find out that Bramblestar has absolutely no idea how many lives he has left due to Ashford. Nightheart points out to Bramblestar that the sacrifice might not be dying, but giving up his leadership. Bramblestar says that he doesn't want to abandon his clan the way that Rowenstar and Pinestar had. With further discussion with Nightheart, Bramblestar then agreed with him and said, perhaps that is what Leafpool meant. In the next chapter, Frostpaw confesses her vision to Splashtail. Honestly, I think he might have murdered Reed Whisker and Curlfeather. Splashtail doesn't think it was a RiverClan cat that killed Reed Whisker, and now he's unsure. Frostpaw decides to confide in Whistlepaw about her visions. Whistlepaw is the WindClan medicine cat apprentice, by the way. After the meeting with Bramblestar, Nightheart was late to his third trial. His trial was to capture rats in the cave, capture 3 pieces of prey that were different from one another, get an egg from the tree without cracking it, and he knocked the entire nest out of the tree and all the eggs shattered. He failed the trial, and he had to leave ShadowClan, and Nightheart failed purposefully. Nightheart confesses to Sunbeam Thunderclan is his home, but he loves her. Sunbeam is upset. I am so glad that Nightheart finally got a scene with Sparkpelt too, because as soon as he gets back, he talks with her, and she expresses how sad that she was that he was gone, how upset that she was, and then they apologized to one another. Also, Bayshine and Nightheart's friendship is so cute. Also, what I'm mainly excited about, Burbostar did it. He stepped down from leader. He announces that he and Squirrelflight will go to the moon pool to announce the plan, which this will probably happen in the next book. So, I am literally dying. I've been waiting so long for this moment, and I hope Thunder does not screw the fandom over, because Bramblestar needs to get gone. The way he stepped down, though, was very, sad and very emotional. They just want you to feel bad for Bramblestar, and I can't help it. I'm a sucker for sad scenes. But anyway, Nightheart officially rejoins Thunderclan with permission by Squirrelflight. And then, in the next chapter, Frostpaw is attacked as she reached the Wind Clan camp to go talk to Whistlepaw. Her attacker ran away, leaving her in a puddle of her own blood. This makes me think even more that it was Splashtail, since he was the only one that Frostpaw told where she was going. So, the only cat that know that she was in Wind Clan was Splashtail. And I doubt that a Wind Clan cat would attack her and just leave her there. And at the end of the book, we find out that Sunbeam is probably going to join ThunderClan. But the thing is, Nightheart told Sunbeam that Squirrelflight might be Squirrelstar by Sunhigh, which means ThunderClan, SkyClan will attack ShadowClan. Well, everyone, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. This was just me randomly talking about the book. I just finished it. I like to write these things as I'm reading it, so some of the things actually don't line up. But anyway, I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.